Assalamu alaikum all. Thank you for joining us tonight here at BaytulHuda. Ahla wa sahla to anyone that's joining us for the first time. Throughout the night, you're making me nervous, Yahya, don't look at me. Throughout the night, if we may touch on any sensitive topics, so if at any point in the night you feel you need to step outside, feel free to do so. There's resources on the front desk if you need any help, and feel free to chat to anyone on the BaytulHuda team if you need support. Today our guest needs no introduction. I'm sure you all know him very well. The one and only Ali Eagle, Ali Al-Sayed. If you give a round of applause. Thank you for joining us tonight, Ali.
Thank you for having me.
Just so we can start the discussion, we want to know a little bit more about who you are. So whatever you feel like sharing about who you are, what you do, the floor is yours.
Well, my name is Ali Sayed, not Ali Eagle. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. I don't know what there is to say about me. I mean, I do what I do. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I also do, a full-time job with my brother. We've been doing that for about 20 years. We supply charcoal all over Australia. And yeah, well, that's basically, I'm a very simple, basic human being. There's nothing more to me than that. Yeah. Other than the fact that I draw and I work with fahm.
Good joy. So obviously you're an artist, as we all know. Where did your passion for art start? Was it when you were a child? Did it start in your adolescence?
Well, it all started when I was very young, as a child. I'm pretty sure everyone as a kid, they get into drawing and whatnot. They draw pictures, they scribble, and I think I just kept pursuing that, and it turned into more of a stress relief, or anything that I wanted to get off my mind, anything that I wanted to become a reality that I couldn't see. In a vision, I would bring it onto a piece of paper or, a canvas or whatnot. Obviously, I started off with pencils and paper until I started drawing on the walls at home, and, I got in trouble and, so forth and so forth, as everyone does as a kid. But yeah, it started off as that. I actually remember the first time that I ever made a sale on something that I did. I was a young kid. I think maybe I was like 5 years old, and I don't know if anyone here, that's old enough that remembers Bass Hill Plaza. There used to be a Franklin's inside, and outside of that Franklin's, when all the women would go shopping, they would throw their kids in front of the Franklin's. There was a place where, my mum will remember this, they had like ornaments, like little statues for kids, and you pick out the statue, everyone sits, the kids, they sit there and you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so it was, one day my mum threw me there, deceived me, and went into Franklin's and I was colouring in one of these little ornaments, and it was like $2 to paint on these little statues. And by the time my mum came back out and we were leaving, this a grown man actually was walking past, and he liked it and he actually bought it off me. I don't know if my mum remembers that, but I remember it so vividly, and I painted it pink. And yeah, I made $3 when I was like 5 years old.
Is that when you first sort of started to realize that you had a talent? It wasn't just, because I'm sure every kid, when you're young, you draw, you play, but not every person has that special talent. Is that the moment where you realized you've got something more?
Look, back when I was 5 years old, $3 went a long way. And yeah, I think that really, the fact that I'm 36 now, and I remember that so vividly. It stuck in my mind. So I think that was a very big stepping stone that stuck with me to where I am today. And plus, you know, there was a lot of times where we would go to the shops and mum wanted to buy something for the house, like, you know, a picture frame for the living room and whatnot, and it was always the fruit bowl. We need a fruit bowl, a canvas of a fruit bowl. Like, it's always fruit, and it's like, we can't find one anywhere, you know what, I'll draw one for you. I never ended up drawing it because I don't like drawing fruit. So, you know, it was just a number of things that just kept coming up, and, you know, people started to realize that, hey, you know, Ali knows how to draw. Ali, can you do me a drawing? Can you draw me a portrait? Designs and so forth, and it kind of escalated from there, yeah.
From when you were young or even to now, was there someone that encouraged that creativity? Was it like an artist or family member? Or it doesn't even have to be a person, anything in general.
Not really, to be honest, not really. Nobody, I've never actually looked up to someone as an artist for me to actually, you know, pursue artwork. For me, it was more of an emotional state. But the person who actually did, like, you know, as a child, no, but as I grew older, definitely my wife pushed me to do so much more. I can't really say, like, no offense to my family, my parents, but very far from, because it was, like, you could imagine.
So it came from within more, like.
It came from within. You know, it was something that I truly wanted to do, and, you know, bring my ideas to life, because not every day you come across something. There's a lot of times where you come across something and you think, you know, oh, I wish I had something like this, or I wish I could, you know, a drawing of that or a painting of that. But if you want to, like, refer to someone like Michelangelo or, you know, Da Vinci, or not really, in that sense, no.
Maybe if you drew your mum the fruit bowl, it would have been different outcome.
I guarantee you, if I drew the fruit bowl, it would not be existent today.
We've spoken previously in, like, the other weeks how men feel pressure to stay quiet. They don't want to speak up. They want to bottle everything in. Did painting become that space for you to express your emotion creatively?
Definitely, 100%, 110%. Like, as I said, when I actually do a canvas or an artwork, it comes from an emotional point of view, an emotional state. No one actually knows this, well, everyone's going to know now, but when I actually do an artwork, I can't do it in a state of happiness. So when I first started off doing artworks and doing my drawings and so forth as a form of release, it was always when I was at a down state. So to block out all my thoughts and emotions, I'll basically, you know, cliche to say, but flow it through my fingertips, and that would completely block everything out. So everything that you see that I make now, I purposely bring myself down to a lower level of, not so much to a state of sadness, but to a state where I'm not completely happy and energized. I have to be very mellow and down. That way I can express more into what I'm doing. If I'm working in a state of like happiness and joy, you know, upbeat music, it'll never work. My best work never comes out. When I'm actually working, the only thing in the background is piano. So I listen to a lot of piano. It has to be very, very slow, soft and mellow. Usually it's on repeat, like 20 times until I realise, hey, I'm listening to the same thing. If I'm on a steady flow, while I don't draw, I airbrush, so when I do that, I'm airbrushing. So when I'm on an actual steady flow and I'm completely focused, if the song changes, it's like the wall that I've got around me just disappears and I have to draw back. Once I draw back, I snap back out of it. So I've basically taught myself to bring myself into a lower state of mind. And once I'm finished, I bring myself back out of it. So that in general has taken a lot of years to master that emotion on its own.
Yeah, it would be hard to bring yourself down, especially to do something like painting, but I think everyone here sees the emotion in your painting as well. They can feel it as well.
Look, there's a lot of work that that people have asked for, like for commission jobs, where it's like, can you draw my car, or can you draw a fruit bowl? To me, it's not so much about the cost or the funds behind or the money that you make. It's more of something that I can feel. If I can't feel it, I won't do it. I can't do it. So I've knocked back so many of them jobs. But if you tell me, like, I know a lot of people have seen recently, I've been doing a lot of portraits. Okay, a lot of portraits of, people, marhumin, like the Sheikh Mansour, or like of this ruhu. I have to feel it. If I don't feel it, I can't do it. So if I'm doing something like a portrait, I always ask for, look, give me a little background story of the person that you want me to do. That way I can connect. It's very important for an artist, if you have no connection with what you're doing, you won't be successful with it. So in order for me to actually be successful with what I'm doing and to perfect the artwork that I'm doing itself, I need to be able to connect. If I can't connect, I won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like a poet?
Yes, exactly, like a poet. So it's more of it runs deeper than just, hey, it's a drawing. It really has to be heartfelt by the artist or whatever it is, a poet, a singer. If you're not able to connect with what you're doing, you'll never succeed. Exactly right. And I'd be lost for hours. My wife will be calling out to me 10 times. And you didn't hear me? I'll be like, well, I have no idea. I didn't even know you were here. No idea. I'll be lost in my own world. So
you say that your artworks, like when you create them, they evoke this emotional response. You have, following what Daniel said, you have quite a strong online presence on social media. What do you want the audience to feel, or what's the purpose of sharing them online for people to see?
Look, lately I've been getting, I think around 60% of my followers are from overseas. They're from Syria and Lebanon. And subhanAllah, every time something happens overseas, Allah said, Allah yahmiyun. Every time something happens, sorry. I broke something. That's good. Alright, we're back on. So, every time something happens overseas, alright, which is on, like right now is on a regular basis, I get bombarded. It's just bombarded with messages, pictures, images, paragraphs, you name it. The people overseas and also here, they like to see that someone from a foreign country, people from foreign country actually take notice, you know, they're being seen also. And what I do, what I give in return at the best of my ability that I can, because like I'm always under the pump with these things. So when I'm doing something out of my own time to give awareness to the people from overseas, it's like they praise it more than you think, and it lets them know also that look, there's people overseas that are also thinking it. It lets them know that they're not alone. You know, everyone from Syria mainly. It lets all of our people know that they're not alone, and the people here and all over the world basically عم يشوفوا شو عم يصير, and يعني عم ندعي لهم at the end of the day. A simple canvas, a simple drawing goes a long way with them.
So a lot of your work shines light on issues overseas, or you're advocating for maybe a purpose or something that's going on.
Right now, yes. I originally started, like, me being an artist, okay, I originally started as doing, I still do, like I do a lot of mural work, you know, restaurants, houses, things like that, more commercial stuff, you know, and residential. But at the moment, it's all religious. It's all been religious. From the people in Lebanon and from Syria. So the things that I'm doing now is more insight. It's more giving insight to the people to show around the world, because I've got that following base, you know, that everyone knows it, that they're going to see it. So I do what I can in that sense. Whatever, you know, images, canvases I can make, you know, to show the people, you know, it's a voice at the end of the day. A voice that can be spoken through artwork rather than getting up and saying a speech.
From all your pieces, we've seen many on Insta, but I'm sure there's many that we haven't seen as well. Have any of them represented a turning point in your life?
A turning point in my life, in what sense?
Like just drawing it or painting it, in the moment, did it feel different compared to other times you had done other artworks?
Look, I think, and I think I think everyone here will agree with me, but the canvas of Al-Marhoom Sheikh Sha'ban Mansour, that was a massive turning point for everyone, even for myself, because that was what basically put me on the radar. And without that canvas, let's be honest, without that canvas, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And not many people would still know my name. So that was a massive turning point, because from that canvas, I mean, I got invited overseas, you know, to so many countries just because of that canvas. So as a turning point in career-wise, and to bring me closer to my people as well, that canvas was definitely a massive turning point for me.
Yeah, it was very emotional when it got shared. It was it went viral pretty quick. But I think it was the first time anyone in our community had done something, put that out onto the world stage and showed, like you said before, showing our community that we haven't forgotten about them. We're still thinking about them, even here in Australia.
Of course. I think, in a funny way, they think, some people think like, you know, I'm somewhat of their savior. Like they message me saying, you know, can you bring me to Australia? So many people tell me, can you bring me to Australia? It's like, man, I draw. I don't know what you want me to do, but definitely in that sense, yeah, a lot of people, it gave them a lot of hope. And, you know, as much as it can help the people overseas and they see it, and it did, it went completely viral, and a lot of people asked for the canvas, you know, a lot of people wanted it and wanted to buy, wanted copies of it, but I have really strict rules to what I do with my artwork and how I do it. So basically a one-of-one make, no copies, no repeats. So whoever asked for it from overseas, I'm sorry, but you can put it as a profile picture, but other than that, that's all I can do for you.
Send it on email.
If it helps.
Relating back to the month of November, which the Movember campaign runs in, and highlighting on the men's mental health aspect of it, you've mentioned how important it is to let people know that they're not alone. Relating it back to the people in Australia, no matter what they're going through, how important do you think it is for people to speak up and people to reach out if they need help with anything?
Look, I think we live in a world where it's really chaotic, especially Hala now being a minority. Obviously, we're a minority between the people. For anyone that's going through hardship, I think it's definitely important, not optional, but I think it's definitely important for someone to reach out if you're going through a hardship, to definitely reach out to the closest person to you or whoever you can find in, like for instance me, my wife, you, your best friend, your parents and whatnot. I think the days have really changed where it's, eat a bag of concrete and toughen up, okay? Us as, not to be sexist, but us as men, we're taught that, especially being from Arab backgrounds, we're taught to toughen up, But in saying that, I think that can also have its repercussions, because the more you bottle things up, obviously the more it's just gonna explode. It's like a boiling kettle. If you do have that someone that you can confide in, no matter who it is, I mean, people pay to speak to someone. I'm pretty sure everybody has somebody that they can speak to at the end of the day, where they can, vent, have a cry, whatever it is. But I think the most important thing is, and especially coming from a male, vent as much as you want, but learn to pick yourself up. And truly and honestly, from my own perspective, I think don't rely on others to pick you up. Be your own savior at the end of the day, because the harsh truth is that no one's going to save you. No one's going to come and save you. Okay, that's the harsh reality. But like we said before, opening up and talking to people, to overcome whatever it is you're going through, I think that's a major stepping stone for people to, to get that heavy release off their shoulders, and like I said, we were raised in a way where, keep silent and don't speak, but in this day and age, it's all changed, because help is everywhere. Help is everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's a helpline for this, helpline for this, helpline for this. You've got a smoking addiction, chew some gum. That's what they'll tell you. Whatever it is you're going through, there's always a helpline. There's always help. There's always someone that will reach out to you, and you'll never know until you actually do confide in somebody that actually cares, because a lot of people care. Everyone cares about somebody. It's just that everybody is just too busy, Everybody has their own life, and it's a busy one, and we live in Sydney. But like I said, to confide in someone, it's not that hard. Reach out, speak, it'll make a massive difference.
And for you, use art as your outlet. How important do you think it is for people to pick up a hobby or find something other than talking to people that maybe can relieve some of what they're going through?
I personally, I block everyone out. I don't block everything. I close my room and I'll sit in there until I'm okay, or I've got my wife, I can phone in my wife, me and my wife will sit down and we'll talk and we'll have a conversation, whatever it is. But I think definitely if you've got a hobby, if you can find something that will get your mind off things, no matter what it is, go for a late night drive, you know, pick up drawing, if you can draw, you know, music. There's a lot of things that you can do that will save a life. There's a lot of things that you can do that will save a life.
Yeah.
With me, it was painting. It was artwork. But I go back to not the scene that put me in that state. I go back to the emotion. And that's what helps me. The other day when I was speaking with Manel about doing a canvas for last week for
Sheikh Ali Kabdur.
for Sheikh. So I had something in mind, and I had about, how long did I have? Maybe a week or so?
I spoke to you about a week prior.
Yeah, probably about a week. Probably a week prior.
Yeah.
I didn't start that canvas until one day before.
The night before.
The night before. I done that canvas one night before. Simply because I needed to be in the right mindset to get into that mood. If I can't get into that mood, I can't feel it, I can't do it. So, like we're going back to your question, if there is something that can help you with, you know, overcoming whatever it is that you need to overcome, if you can pick up a hobby and you can use it, turn a negative into a positive, definitely you can pick up anything.
Yeah. Like some people, it's the gym, for example, going for a walk.
Yeah.
Depends what suits the person. Each person probably has a different outlet.
100%. I've got no time for the gym. No time for the gym. But that's not my release.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the gym, walk. Some people, you know, play games, go for drives. I go for drives. I take my car out when I'm feeling down sometimes. And yeah,
Whatever it is, yeah. And now taking it back a little bit about your art, how did you start? You're quite famous for your airbrushing. From when did you transfer from the pencil or the pen to airbrushing? How did that start?
Where's my dad? I was in my room one day, and I'm originally known as the Disney artist. So I started off with doing Disney characters. I always wanted a Disney mural in my room, and I could never bring myself to do it. You know, obviously we're not going to hire someone out to go and paint a mural and whatnot, you know. So I first started off on pencils, obviously, and then I gradually kept going, you know, paint. I tried the watercolor. I absolutely hated watercolor because watercolor you can't control, and I need to control everything that I touch, like, you know. And then it was one day where in my room I done just a normal white wall, and then I drew like a 3D effect of the wall broken with bricks behind the wall. And I've still got the photo till today, and my dad walked in the room and he just, you know, lost his mind. What did you do to the wall? You broke it, you broke it. And he started feeling it and stuff. And I started showing my dad my work, you know. And then as I would be drawing in my room, when I was still using pencil on paper, he'd barge into my room, you know, like obviously as your average Arab parent would do, just what are you doing, you know? And he'd look at me and just, And then he'd look at me again and he'd be like, "You're tracing." "I'm not tracing." "Yes, you're tracing." "I'm not tracing." "Alright, whatever." It took a while for them to actually believe that I was this good. Anyway, so I'm hadith. So that's when I transferred to paintbrush and canvas, because you can't trace through canvas, it's too thick. Same thing, barge through the room, have a look, you're tracing. "I'm not tracing." So forth and so forth. Anyway, then it went from doing, A4 paper to little canvases, and it wasn't enough for me. There was just too much to release to be on an A4 page. I wanted to go big. And that's when I went out and I bought myself an airbrush kit. And my barber in Condell Park, he said to me, "Just come practice on my wall." So I walked in, I had no idea about airbrushing, but it's the hardest thing to do. Airbrushing is the hardest type of medium, we call it medium. Sorry for those who don't know what it means. Your medium means like pencil or airbrush, paint, charcoal, whatever it is. So I ended up doing his barbershop with the airbrush, and then from there it just, his neighbor saw it and said, "Come do my shop," and then that neighbor saw it and come do my shop. And then that's how I got into the actual airbrushing, the actual airbrush itself. But it took a very, very, very long time to master, because there's no actual so like when you're actually doing pencil work, you've got your balance, you've got your support. Whereas airbrush, you're in the air and you're shooting straight. So to breathe, you're not allowed to breathe. When you're airbrushing, there's no breathing, because the moment you take a breath, your hand goes up and down, and that completely goes off. So yeah, that's how I got into airbrushing, and then I started taking on jobs. My dad still didn't believe that I was doing it. I started coming home at like 7 in the morning, and my dad would be leaving for work. I'd be coming home. I was like 28 years old at the time. I'm like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was working." And trouble, because he still wouldn't believe that I was doing what I was doing. But yeah, then that's how I got into airbrushing.
Ali,
too many years.
You mentioned to us privately, there's an untold story behind why you started painting, or why you started taking it so seriously the way you do now. Do you want to share with us tonight?
That's I basically shared it before with the whole. It started off as a. Look, I think everybody here has obviously experienced the rough stages in their life. The struggles and hurdles in their life and so forth. I obviously went through that in my mid-20s. I made myself sound so old, but when I was about 25, 26, I didn't draw for, and I didn't draw for 13 years. 13 years, I didn't draw a single thing. I put it down, I put it aside, because it was just a hobby. Like, where's it gonna go at the end of the day? How often does someone actually make it to, alhamdulillah, to where I am now? It's not very often. But yeah, when I picked it back up, I was at a very low. I was at a low point, and that's basically the story before, when my dad used to come and budge in, you know, and I'd be drawing, you know, get it off my mind, get things off my mind, you know, block out all my emotions. I don't know if you realise, but 90% of the time when I upload videos or take photos of myself when I'm online and stuff, you know, I'm always wearing a hat. I even ask, you know, I run around the house sometimes, I ask my wife, where's my hat? I need my hat, because it gives the, how can I say it? It's like I've convinced myself, you know, like I tricked myself to believing when I put my hat on, I've blocked all my thoughts. That's it. Everything inside is blocked, nothing can come through.
It's like your trigger, the hat. Is it the same
Exactly.
hat as well?
The hat is my trigger.
The same hat, or is it whatever?
It's always the same hat. It's the New York one, the New York black one. Once that did it, I go and buy the exact same one again and I throw it on. But yeah, the whole untold story about it was, you know, going through a rough stage, and instead of, you know, like we're talking about, the whole reason why we're here, obviously, is because of, you know, mental awareness, turning a negative into a positive. So that's what I've done. I basically got back into drawing, and I found it as a stress relief and a way to release all my, you know, all my emotions and get over the whole, you know, whatever I was going through at the time. To be honest, I don't even remember what it was anymore, but alhamdulillah, I went through it because it got me here. And yeah, that was basically it. I turned the negative into a positive, and it helps me now with when I have a bad day, like for instance, like let's be honest, every married couple argues, okay? We get into an argument, I'm going to draw. That's it. I'll go into my room, just start drawing. But if it's anger, no.
You can't paint when you're angry.
If it's happy, if it's joyful, I can't do it. If it's anger, I don't go near it. That's it.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd reach a point where you're so known for your art? And how does that make you feel, like when you're doing the art? Now that you know you have you have eyes watching you, you have an audience waiting to see what the next painting is. Like, how does that influence what you're gonna do next?
Is it pressure?
You know what? I'll be very honest with you. It's a lot of pressure. Not because I can't do it, but because it's very demanding. Like it's extremely demanding. Because any artwork to bring to perfection, and like I'm a big perfectionist, any artwork to bring to perfection takes anywhere between 50 to 100 hours. So when you've got constant, you know, clients, I've got one client that's been waiting for his canvas. I promise to God, no word of a lie, it's been 11 months and he's still waiting on his canvas. But the good thing about that is these people that actually commission artwork and they order artwork, they know what goes behind it. They know how much work goes behind it. They know how much time it takes. So when you're talking about pressure, it's a lot of pressure because I've got such a big lineup, and then you've got so many hours. There's not enough hours in a day, and you know, you get your customers, you get your clients, and they tell you, show me an update. Where are we? Have you finished? I'll be like, yeah, I finished it. I haven't even started it. You know, just things like that. And then you got people overseas. You know, Allah la yjarrib hada, but like, you know, I get messages all the time saying, Ali kifa, kif as-sahha, inshallah bkhair. ميت لي 12 شخص فيك ترسم لي اياهم. It's like where do you want me to go with this? Like I don't even have the time to. I don't even have an artwork myself to hang up in my own house, let alone to do so many in such a time frame, because I'm one artist, two hands. I can't commission anyone to come do it because nobody wants somebody else's work. You're basically paying for, not so much paying, but you're coming to the artist for their hands, for their work. If I could commission someone and get like partners, it'll take so much stress off my shoulders, but it's impossible.
It's not the same touch.
It's impossible. Because if you, let's say for instance, if you reach out to me and say to me, Ali, I want you to do me an artwork, and then I commission somebody else, I get a partner, La ilaha illallah. Sorry. Sorry. Alright, we're on? No, we're not on. Am I talking? I'm not talking yet. Take him out, put him back in. Are you sure?
Yeah. Almost done.
Okay. Alright, we're back. Sorry guys. To actually get a partner involved in what I do is impossible. So I have to basically do it all myself, and clients have to understand that it's just a waiting game. You have to wait, and if you want perfection, you have to wait. Funny story. I actually once I broke my hand. So I've broken my hand in 4 points here. And when I went to the hospital, they said to me, we need to put you in a cast. And I refused. And I said to him, you're not putting me in a cast. There's no way. Like, Ali, your hand's broken in 4 positions and so forth. I said to him, you're not putting me in a cast, I need to work. So back and forth, we argued. And they gave me a half cast, just so I can have these two to work with. So, and that was all because to meet client demands, because of how much pressure I was under at the end of the day. So if you want to talk pressure, there's a lot of pressure involved.
I think before we wrap it up, we want to know what's, as a person, as an artist, what's next for you?
Exhibition.
We know you have an exhibition coming up. You want to talk a bit about that?
How's it going?
No, alright. The exhibition is supposed to be in Melbourne in February. Now, to be completely honest, so far it is going ahead, but I am thinking it's not in talks at the moment, but it's on my mind. Because like I said before, it's because I've got such a high demand and it's a lot of pressure. And it's such a short time frame. I was thinking maybe pulling the plug and then doing it here in Sydney. Not yet?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe when the team sees that, they're gonna be so disappointed. But at the moment it's still going ahead. Even if it does go ahead in Melbourne, I'm still going to be doing one here in Sydney, because I know a lot of people can't go up there to Melbourne, catch flight and whatnot, but I definitely do want to do one here in Sydney, and make the most of it, make the best parts of it, even speak to people overseas, because there's also a lot of people that I prioritize overseas as well, in Syria and Lebanon. So I would like to also give them awareness in that sense. So inshallah, February will be in Melbourne, and I'm looking at, inshallah, at the end of next year, I will be doing one here in Sydney. So,
Thank you, Ali, for telling us a bit of your story today. Now that we have Ali here in person, does anyone have any questions for Ali before we wrap up about anything he shared, his story?
khair.
How does it make you feel to be an artist?
Huh?
How does it make you feel to be an artist?
Wallah, the fact that you barge through my door every time I'm drawing is it makes it I love it. I love it.
More pressure. You tell me else. I want to make this work.
You know what? I'll answer. I'll answer your question honestly. I'll answer your question genuinely. Okay. Okay.
How does it feel to be an artist?
To get to this point, honestly, I've worked way over probably 10 years, okay, to get to this point. When I first started off, as you know, I was coming home mornings, day in, day out, every single day. So I would go to work on my trucks. Even after my trucks, I wouldn't go home. As you know, I wouldn't go home. I would go straight from my truck to my restaurants, all the restaurants that I've done, and I would stay there till overnight and come in the morning or late at night, like 3 a.m. and go repeat every day. So to be at this point now, to be sitting here now in front of all of you is an absolute, it's an honor, honestly, and it's a privilege. And to be known, not to boast, but to be known as the artist of the community, if I'm even considered that. I hope I do everyone proud, and I'll continue to do you all proud, and I'll take part in all the events and everything that you guys want to see, everything that you guys would like me to do, anything at all. I'm at your fingertips.
You said you had a 13-year break. Or you said you had a 13-year. You said you had a 13-year break. During that time, for whatever reason that you couldn't paint, did you miss it? And now that you paint again, do you feel that this is your purpose? Did you feel like this is what I was missing and I have to paint, otherwise like I'm just not Ali?
Good question. Okay. So I know I didn't paint for 13 years because I remember the last picture that I done, the last artwork that I done, and it was actually in Syria. It was in Syria at school, and I done a picture there, and I remember it was supposed to be like the drawing that we had to do, which was homework, was kids joining together in unity, okay, for the school. And that was the last picture I drew until we came back here to Australia, and then I never picked it up again. And then, as a normal male, I got my P's, and I got into cars and whatnot, and drawing is drawing. But I got into it again. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember it was that many years later. It was for Easter. So we were doing, I had a group of friends, and we were doing like buying eggs and the Easter bunny eggs and stuff. But I actually drew a picture for a friend of mine who owned a what's the word? He sells like things for school, like pencils, textures, and stationery. He has a stationery shop. So I done him a picture and I put it on my page and whatever, and that's when I got back into it. In relation to purpose, I actually, and this is a massive thing for me, the whole purpose question. I actually got offered a job from Disney itself when they saw my Disney wall that I done it's actually in my house, the massive Beauty and the Beast one, and it's a whole Disney mural. That took me over 800 hours. I calculated it, over 800 hours. So I actually received an email, and it went viral. And when I actually got an email as a request to respond to the email from Disney, but it had a time frame, and I don't check emails. I've got no reason to check emails. So by the time I checked it, it was gone. And I couldn't get through to him and so forth. I tried, it was gone. But that, alhamdulillah, that didn't go through, and where I am now here today, this is definitely my purpose now. So that speaks for itself. So alhamdulillah, I'm here now. And
any more questions?
no, I got it.
All right, quick question. As a small community that we are, and the mentor that you are, have you ever considered of doing classes for people from our community that need that? Sometimes, of course, you've got a passion, which you can do to release. A lot of kids from our community might not have something like that. Do you ever consider doing something like that for the kids of our community?
I've got my cousin Mariam here. Mariam does. Sorry, Mariam, what do you? Mariam does all Islamic calligraphy. Mariam asked me once for help, and I went and I taught her, and I gave her a couple of lessons. You know what I mean? I taught her the basics. Mariam, for starters, has. Sorry, I'm using it as an example, but Mariam has a. She wanted to pursue it. Okay, look. I believe personally, that everyone is born with a gift, okay? But how much of a gift are you given is so much. Whether you pursue it, you make it bigger, or you close your fist on it and it's gone. See you later. So in order to teach someone, they have to be willing to actually want to get into it. You need to be obsessed with what you want to do. I will help you. I actually do. I get a lot of people from overseas that actually message me and ask me, Ali, how do you do this? How do you do that? Blah blah. And I actually and I show them, and I send them videos, and I teach it to the best of my abilities for whatever it is. Look, it has been an idea, but I don't think you'd want me as a teacher. But honestly speaking, wallah, I think if enough people came to me and said to me, Ali, look, we're all here together, we would want to do a class with you. I think. Did you reach out to me?
At one point, yeah.
He reached out to me and he asked me, Ali, are you willing to do a class? And I said to him, if he's want to do it, and we can all get together, and it'll be fun, and I'll teach you the basics and whatnot. I'll probably even give you a job. I don't know.
It's good to start somewhere. Like, it's good to start somewhere.
100%,
A lot
100%.
of kids go out and do things that they shouldn't be doing, but if they can focus on something that they like, it can get them to stay together. Like example, now we have these classes that helps our community to become one. Example.
100%.
So something like that will help as well. Like anything that we can help. Like,
Look, I'd say this openly. If there is أولاد من جماعتنا that are willing to do it, okay? Izzy, where's Izzy? That's my cousin Izzy. You're a Simon. He came to me once with his year 12 assignment. He said to me, Ali, I don't know how to draw. Can you draw it for me? He got full marks and he went into investigation. And I think I done it for Maya. Maya, didn't I do it for you too? Oh, for your sister. But
it's the only subject that I passed.
so yeah, look, I think if it would be a lovely thing to consider, honestly. If you personally know someone.
look, I know a lot of people that love art, and the thing is, as I said, to go out and do it somewhere else, we have to, example, come back from work at an example 4:35, travel an hour away to get someone to teach you how to do this.
It's hard.
Do you know what I mean?
It is.
Takes a lot of your time.
It's so tiring.
And we're talking about mainly like boys, like now, because a lot of boys, I'm not saying about guys, but a lot of boys mentally don't know how to, like us women, we find ways. Like we find a lot of ways to get over our stress. But when boys are, boys are different. Boys
Of course.
It's just
Of
hard
course.
for them because they play this role as women, we are macho, we are this, we are that. But there's things that can really calm them down.
If I say, you know what, look, that's I think the whole macho act these days. Okay, look, every guy holds a persona where they want to be macho. Okay, every guy's like that, especially Arabs.
So like you're not a weightlifter nor you're a gym actor, right? But what you have to show people is your skill. Where a lot of people think, oh, you know what, I have to be macho, I have to stay macho, I have to show them that I'm a man. But they don't have this skill to show. They probably do have it, but they're just too scared to show it.
Yeah, definitely.
So someone like
Yeah,
you
100%.
that out, can maybe teach them.
Because a lot of people hold a persona where they think that they're macho, and if they show something else, they'll lower themselves. You know what I mean? But I mean, we're in 2025. You know, like that whole act. You never know. Your whole macho and what you've got can actually make you some money at the end of the day, and that's what you want. You know what I mean? You can still keep your persona. You can still keep that act. Do whatever you want. I mean, look, I'm an artist, but I'm not a pushover at the same time. You know what I mean? But if that's the way that people go about it, themselves, they're gonna struggle through life, and that's where all the struggles. That's where it comes from. But then, a lot of that comes from also within the household. It all starts within the household.
See, that's why if you have these classes, if you really want to get out of this, like what you're experiencing at home, it doesn't have to be bad, of course. It could be just something you had an argument with your mum, whatever it is, and you need that space. And you said drawing helped you release a lot of that stress and whatever. Maybe that can help our boys as well, just to come into a class and you know, do that stuff instead of driving around Bankstown or relax or whatever.
But in saying that, the boys have to be willing to do that.
That's not they have to have a talent. They want to do it. It's something you want to do.
Absolutely.
Bankstown's old now. We do the M5 now.
Whatever you just want to do.
No, but look, in front of everyone here, honestly, if you guys are willing to hold classes, if you guys would like to hold classes, but don't hold it against me. I'm not like the best teacher. I don't, like I can teach you the basics. I can help. I can teach you.
The principal, if you want, and if you're not well, I'll kick you out.
Done.
If there's classes, they all have to be in a bad mood.
Look, I don't know if that's the next step that you guys want to take as BaytulHuda, to hold classes with artworks and stuff. I'm more than happy. Even when if I'm working on a canvas, I can, and if you hold it at this community center, I can bring in my canvas, and I'll work on it. You know how they do like the sip and paint or whatever it is. we can do that here. You know what I mean? I'll work
Make
and
it happen. Next year, sleep and paint with Ali Eagle.
we can organize it. We can definitely organize it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Ali, for spending the time around the doors.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the BaytulHuda team, we have a little gift of appreciation for you.
Oh, you didn't have to.
There's a little certificate.
That's awesome.
You can hang that one.
Oh,
In
definitely.
your house.